100 players who shook the coach.
Keegan, tell you what, bad hairstyle, but fantastic player.
Yeah, he would have to be kind of my hero growing up before I joined the club.
His contribution to that 70s team was quite phenomenal.
Some of the goals he scored, I mean, I don't think everyone knows what the man was about. He was just fantastic.
So 20 minutes of this game gone without a goal, but a bit more life and promise in it lately as Keegan comes in, #1.
Finding Kevin Keegan was awesome.
The bundle of energy, and Bill Shankly's got to take the biggest accolade there for bringing that out of the man. You know, the kid said himself when he came, he didn't really believe in himself, and Shankly moulded him into the person he was.
He played for Scunthorpe at Everton in an FA Cup second replay, and Harry Catterick, who'd been alerted to him, described him as just another busy midfield player and dropped interest in him. Andy Beattie had recommended him to Shankly because at that time Ian Callaghan had had knee trouble and they thought he was finished. This was 1971. And they bought Keegan for $35,000 to replace Ian.
When Kevin first joined the club, which was just before the cup final in 1971, he just seemed a bright, cheery young boy that was joining this huge club, and it was another one of those signings that Shanks made that were potential.
Kevin Keegan on the near post, Toshak behind him. Keegan. Oh, beautifully taken.
And on the day Kevin arrived at Liverpool, it was like a building site. Anfield was being rebuilt. And he actually sat on a dustbin outside waiting to see Bill Shankly to sign Kevin. And he got in there, and Shankly was astounded when he asked for more than Bill offered him. He said, "I want £5 a week more than that." And Shankly gave it to him, and afterwards he said, "Jesus Christ, the cheeky whippersnapper. I made him an offer and he wanted more. I like that," he said, "I like that." So he was quite impressed by Kevin. He was his own man from the outset.
Keegan!
And then we got into pre-season training, 1971 season, and it was like a headless chicken almost, was Kev. He ran around everywhere. His industry was phenomenal.
And they played him in a trial match up front. Just tried him up front, just stuck him up front. And amazingly, usually the reserves beat the first team in these there was a pre-season trial game, but this time they had Keegan alongside Toshak, and the first team actually won, which was amazing. So they just threw them in together against Nottingham Forest in the first game of the season. And it was unbelievable, worked like a dream, and they never looked back.
Peter Thompson keeping at him, the way back cut off, and it's come straight to John Toshak. Got too many front, that's Keegan. Keegan with a chance, and he has scored! Kevin Keegan has scored!
I was about 13 when he first came, and like, you know, we all grew our hair like him because we loved him that much.
It's gone now, that generation, where they get somebody from a nomad club, like you know, that you'd never heard of, and then all of a sudden he's playing for Liverpool, and then he's playing for England.
Kevin turned out to be a brilliant footballer for me.
Keegan. Toshak and Highway up. And Keegan shots, and he scored!
He was just infectious as well. You couldn't really mark him. He was very quick. He was great stamina as well.
Apart from that industry, the thing that I admired most about Kevin Keegan was his ability to learn very, very quickly.
He had a great engine on him, and he was great in the air. He could leap, prodigious leaps he could make. He could probably leap as high as Toshak could, and he was about half the size.
The thing about Kevin Keegan, he was an amazing footballer. But I think anyone who watched him at the time would also say you can't mention Keegan without mentioning Big Toshak next to him.
Him and John Toshak were really the crankies of football. If you look at them, big fella, little fella.
Toshak, Keegan, 1-0. Toshak, Keegan, 2-0.
Keegan, far from being a midfield player, was this darting, will-o'-the-wisp striker, the perfect foil for this big striker Toshak alongside him.
it was just an absolute pleasure to see Kevin Keegan and John Toshak on a football field.
Cormac. Whitworth. Now Toshak. That's for Keegan. What a goal!
There was something about the combination of the two, this little mighty mouse of Keegan and the huge, slightly quieter Welshman in Toshak, and the two just combined sublimely and devastatingly so.
Tosh did all the work, but Kevin Keegan took the glory because he deserved it.
That's for Toshak and for Keegan. Some space around, the 1-2 was beautiful, and Keegan scores for Liverpool. And that was a really lovely move.
He was the beginnings of that whole change in football, when the kind of football became like superstars. It had started obviously with George Best, and Keegan fitted into that mould. You know, he tried singing with some success, I suppose. You know, he was kind of a pop star, superstar. He did the clothes, he had the hair. Didn't he have the hair? And what a character, though. You know, what a bubbly character he was.
Some of the media made him into a bit of a superstar, but actually when he played for us, he pulled on his red shirt and he was one of the lads. I thought he was a terrific person and a terrific footballer.
And Newcastle at the moment looking just a little disorganised. Here's Hall. And now a chance for Keegan. And that's it! Kevin Keegan has scored for Liverpool.
And the reaction to his announcement in '77 that he was going to step down at the end of that season. And there was such a furore. I mean, Liverpool fans felt very betrayed and very angry about it.
When Kevin decided to, he wanted to go abroad, he gave Liverpool a year's notice. He said he wanted to go abroad. I think the Kop fell out of love with him then. And it was a very challenging season for Kevin, that. But it all came right with his last appearance.
And obviously then he left and went to Hamburg, but you remember him for that. I think that his last game was against Borussia Mönchengladbach in the European Cup final, where he ran Bertie Volkswagen.
What a way to go out. He was superb that night.
Keegan. Foul, but it's going on! And what about it? Yes!
That will probably be my abiding memory of him.
He's not had the greatest of seasons. It wasn't his best season by any means, but it was all forgotten in that great night in Rome.
And you know, he just blew the 70s away.
Kevin Keegan trying his tricks, and there's the floating cross again. Tommy Smith almost arrogantly putting it there for Brian Hall. Back again for Tommy Smith. Turned inside for Highway. Playing it again for Smith. What a good move. Oh, and yes, it's there by Keegan. His second goal. And what a move that led to it.
And he was also good at keeping kids off the road with those Green Cross Code adverts. How many lives did Kevin Keegan think by saying, "Hey you, don't do that"?
Here's Keegan. Got away from three defenders then.
You know, superstar players these days, you know, you got all these big names going on, but Keegan was the boy of the 70s and a well-deserved, you know, title that he had.
And Keegan blasts the shot, and it's in!
And Brute, in fact, he saved people's lives, and then he sold them something that stunk so much he wanted to run out on the road anyway.
Hughes. Keegan!
What a great guy, and he's still held in great affection, I think, by the Liverpool fans to this day.
He was fantastic, brilliant player.
Neil for Toshak's head. Keegan was already on the move into the box, and he's got it over the keeper's head.
Keegan! He's done it!
Kennedy. Johnson again, with room now for a cross. Towards Keegan's head and meeting it. What a lovely goal! An atmosphere here tonight, matching the wall of noise which surrounded the players at St Etienne a fortnight ago. Keegan